Start.
What do you think about the state school and public school system in UK now?
They're both good, and it's good that there's a choice, and the subjects that are taught are exactly the same. So the advantage of a public school is the students are pushed more. They're pushed to work hard, and generally students who go to a public school want to be there. So some of the state school students don't want to be there, and if they don't want to be, so people will get better results quite often in public school because their parents and the teachers push them. So, Simon.
Well, let me tell you. No, I mean, I went to a state school, but there's different grades of state school. In the UK, each house is in an area called a postcode. So you'll have a whole group of houses under one area, and you might have 3 schools in that area, 2 good and 1 bad. And if there's a good school in that area, people will move to be close to it because you have to live a certain distance away to get into it. But what Jane says is very true. In a lot of state schools, the students are there because they have to be there. They don't particularly want to be there. Very often they don't do very well. However, when you get to the age of 16, you have the opportunity for 2 more years, or you can leave. And if you do the 2 more years, you can then look to go into higher education, to university. And that's where it becomes unfair, because the people who've been in private education get the better universities, the better courses, and that filters upwards, right the way up to the government. If you look at the top people, although private school is probably, say, 5% pupils go, when you get to the tops of industry and government and civil service, 80% come from public school. So it's what they call in England the old school tie.
Yeah.
You turn up for an interview, you may not be the best person for the job, but because you have the right school tie, welcome aboard.
And talk something about the public school where you studied.
The public school where I studied, well, it was a school just for girls, and you could go there from when you were 5. So from 5 to 11 you're in junior school, and then from 11 to 18 you're in senior school. And everybody from my school left to go to university. So as I said, it's an all-girls school, and we had class sizes of between 10 and 15. We studied the same subjects, but my class sizes were a lot smaller, and our teachers really pushed you to make sure that we did our homework, to make sure our homework was done on time, and our parents really pushed us. Whereas Simon School, maybe the class sizes were a lot bigger, not everybody wanted to be there, and in Simon School a small number of people would have gone to university, whereas in my school everyone went to university. So there was a lot of focus on academic subjects, everybody learnt a foreign language, and also very much focus on sporting achievements as well. So they really pushed students to take part in sports and to be involved in things like the arts and culture, and to be aware of what was going on. Now at the time I didn't enjoy going to the school I did, because you were really pushed, so I would rather have gone to a state school, not a private school. But now I see the benefit of having, now that I'm an adult, I see the benefit of going, but at the time I didn't like it. And both state schools and public schools in the UK, you wear a school uniform too. So, and that's one of the things that you can quite often tell the difference between a public school and a state school in the uniforms that they wear. So my uniform, very old-fashioned, whereas his uniform more modern as well.
So if you have to choose, so what kind of school will you choose for
That
your
would
children?
be a
for example?
difficult one because it would depend largely where we lived. So if we lived in an area where there were good state schools, so for example where my brother lives in a very small town, which is a very rich town, and they have very, very good state schools. So his children go to a state school, even though he can afford to pay to go to a public school. So it really would depend on where we lived. Now where we live, there aren't very good state schools, so we would probably pay for a child to go to private school purely because of where we live, that they don't have good state schools. So it all really depends. And every school in the UK, every year, they get ranked. So based on exam results and based on performance, and everyone in the UK has access. So you would know what ranking the school is so that parents can make a choice. So, you know, some of the state schools are very, very high ranked. They're actually better in terms of results than a lot of the private schools. And that's purely on geography, where they happen to be. Our geography, not good.
You might be couple get together, say in 5 years we're going to start having a family. So you go onto what they call the league tables, and you type in the postcode of where you're living, and you see, and they might think, well, I'll move to another area to be near a better school.
One of my brothers moved where he lives to be in a good area for his children to go to school. So both my brothers, their children, and they've both moved to live where they live because of schools. My sister's children, because of where they lived already, there are no good schools there, so they go to a private school. But very, very, very expensive. Very expensive.
How much was the term?
£3,000. So that
For
3,000 no, for times 3 for one term. So $5,000, $15,000 a year. A lot of money
1 year.
for 1 year. And she has
Times
3 children.
3 children.
How?
$45,000 a year.
And that is not including school uniforms, school books, extra music lessons, school trips. $45,000 a year.
A good state school,
Nothing.
free.
Yeah.
Our taxes, we have no children, our taxes
Ah.
pay for the state school. So every child is entitled to free education from the age of 5
It's
until
a legal
16.
requirement from 4
Legal
years
requirement.
old to 16. You have to go to school.
So if we had children, the government would have, our children might not go to the school that we choose, but the government would have to educate them from 5 until 16. But private education, and some private schools even more expensive. May's really